Iron rusts from disuse, stagnant water loses its purity, and in cold weather becomes frozen. Even so does inaction sap the vigors of the mind. Leonardo da Vinci. Today, we stand at the intersection of Renaissance genius and future biotechnology to reveal how the greatest mind in history mastered the hidden art of neural rewiring for evolution. By analyzing Da Vinci's daily cognitive protocols and his obsession with multifactorial patterns, we uncover the secrets to lowering your biological age through the power of advanced neuroplasticity intelligence. We will decode the sacred geometry of the human brain, integrating mitochondrial health and circadian light timing to rebuild your mental resilience for the challenges of the coming decade. Greetings, seekers of evolution. Welcome to the Longevity Protocol. Join us as we explore the 7 methods for superior neuroplasticity used by the master himself to transcend human limits. Leonardo's first method centered on the observation of nature's infinite complexity, a practice that forced his brain to form new synaptic connections by seeing patterns where others saw chaos. This relentless curiosity stimulated the production of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the molecular fertilizer that allowed his mind to remain as agile and creative at 60 as it was 20. To replicate this, we must shift our perspective, engaging with the world through a lens of deep inquiry that challenges the mitochondrial efficiency of our prefrontal cortex every day. The master's journals reveal a specific focus on sensory integration, where the smell of oil paints and the sound of falling water fused into a single intellectual experience for him. Modern research into the oral microbiome shows that our sensory inputs are deeply connected to our gut-brain axis, influencing the rate at which our neurons fire and regenerate themselves. To optimize this unique internal state, we must integrate consistent light exposure with high-level cognitive tasks, effectively turning our environment into a powerful catalyst for rapid neural growth. By stimulating multiple senses simultaneously, Da Vinci created a state of hyper-neuroplasticity, essentially upgrading his brain's operating system to process information with unprecedented speed and depth. We are living through a silent biological crisis where our eyes are starved of natural light and overloaded with toxic frequencies that degrade our mitochondrial health and cognitive focus. His second method involved the mastery of ambidexterity, writing in mirror image and painting with both hands to balance the hemispheric activity of his powerful brain. This simple physical practice forced the corpus callosum to expand, creating a biological highway for data transfer between the logical left and the creative right hemispheres. In 2026, we utilize transcranial stimulation to achieve similar results, but the organic method of dual-hand coordination remains a primary protocol for elite cognitive longevity seekers. The third method focuses on the Sfumato technique, not just in art, but as a mental state where boundaries become blurred and multiple possibilities exist simultaneously. By embracing ambiguity, Da Vinci prevented the premature closure of his thoughts, allowing his neurons to explore vast conceptual spaces before crystallizing into a final discovery. This cognitive flexibility is essential for survival in a rapidly changing world, where the ability to unlearn and relearn is the ultimate marker of biological age. We must learn to sit with the unknown, using specific meditation protocols that enhance our mental resilience and prevent the stress-induced shrinking of our critical brain regions. Integrating this with circadian light timing ensures that our brain is primed for deep philosophical inquiry during the golden hours of the natural solar cycle. Leonardo also prioritized sleep and recovery, utilizing a polyphasic sleep schedule to maximize his productive hours while ensuring his brain cells underwent essential metabolic cleaning. This ancient protocol for cognitive recovery is now being validated by research into the glymphatic system, which acts as the brain's waste management during rest periods. To optimize this, one must align their biological clock with the rising and setting of the sun, a principle that Da Vinci followed instinctively in his Tuscan workshop. By respecting the ancient natural rhythm of light and shadow, we protect our mitochondria from oxidative stress and ensure that our brain cells remain young, vibrant, and powerful. By respecting the natural rhythm of light, we protect our mitochondria from the oxidative stress of constant artificial illumination and preserve our long-term intellectual vitality. The fourth method is the constant challenge of the status quo, a mental habit that forces the brain to rewire itself by questioning even the most basic assumptions. This proactive neuroplasticity is the key to mental resilience, allowing the brain to adapt to trauma and aging by constantly building new pathways for thought and action. Next, I will reveal the precise geometric breathing method that Da Vinci used to oxygenate his brain cells for maximum creative output. Stay tuned for the master's secret. The fifth method Leonardo utilized was a specific pattern of geometric breathing, designed to saturate his brain cells with oxygen during periods of intense creative and mathematical focus. By controlling the rhythm of his breath, he regulated his autonomic nervous system, allowing his mind to enter a state of flow where complex solutions emerged with clarity. This practice directly supports mitochondrial health, ensuring that the power plants of your neurons have the necessary fuel to maintain high levels of neuroplasticity throughout your entire life. In our modern longevity protocol, we enhance this ancient wisdom with real-time biofeedback, tracking heart rate variability to ensure perfect synchronization between the heart and the brain. Every inhalation becomes a deliberate act of cognitive engineering, a tool to lower inflammation and preserve the structural integrity of your neural networks against the effects of time. Leonardo understood that the quality of our inner air dictates the quality of our thoughts, a principle that remains a cornerstone of elite performance and biological age management. This relentless pursuit of interconnectedness allowed Leonardo to see the invisible threads linking anatomy to architecture, fundamentally rewiring his prefrontal cortex for multidimensional and visionary problem-solving daily. This mental agility allowed him to see the hidden connections between the flow of water and the movement of air, essentially building a holistic map of the physical world. To replicate this intelligence, we must challenge our brains to synthesize information from different domains, forcing the formation of complex synaptic bridges that define the elite polymathic mind. Such intellectual diversity is a powerful defense against cognitive decline, keeping the brain in a state of constant growth and protecting the delicate balance of the master neural circuits. Research suggests that this type of cross-domain learning triggers the release of specialized neurotrophic factors, which act as a molecular shield for your genetic code and cellular health. By cultivating a mind that refuses to be specialized, we align ourselves with the true spirit of the Renaissance, pushing the limits of our biological potential and mental resilience. We must also address the impact of the oral microbiome on these processes, as the health of our mouth directly influences the level of systemic inflammation in the brain. Keeping our internal ecosystems in balance ensures that our neurons can fire at maximum speed, allowing for the rapid acquisition of new skills and the preservation of memory. Leonardo's seventh method was the principle of persistence, a mental habit of returning to a problem with fresh eyes and renewed energy until the solution finally revealed itself clearly. This unwavering focus is a direct manifestation of high mitochondrial energy, the fuel that allows the prefrontal cortex to remain engaged in deep work for hours without any fatigue. Through the lens of 2026 science, we recognize this as the peak of cognitive endurance, a state that can be optimized through strict adherence to circadian light timing protocols. By syncing our peak mental efforts with the natural peak of our body temperature and cortisol levels, we achieve a form of superhuman productivity that mirrors the master's. By aligning his creative sessions with the rising sun, the master utilized early morning light to surge his neurotransmitters, creating an optimized biological window for elite cognitive performance. To achieve superior neuroplasticity, we must protect our morning focus as if it were our most valuable biological asset, avoiding the digital noise that poisons our mental clarity. This transition from ancient habit to modern biohacking allows us to reclaim our cognitive sovereignty, ensuring that our brains remain sharp, creative, and resilient for the long term. We are now beginning to see how these 7 methods combine into a single, powerful protocol for mental evolution, a blueprint for the future of human intelligence and longevity. Every habit, every breath, and every exposure to light is a vote for the person you are becoming, a step toward a biological age that defies the simple passage of time. As we continue our investigation, we will look at how the master's obsession with geometry provided a structural framework for his brain to process the infinite data of nature. Geometry was not just math to him. It was the language of the universe, a visual code that allowed his neurons to organize information with perfect mathematical precision and harmony. Modern brain imaging reveals that this type of structural thinking activates the parietal lobes in ways that enhance spatial reasoning and protect against the onset of cognitive aging symptoms. By training our minds to see the underlying structures of reality, we build a mental fortress that is resistant to the chaos and stress of the modern digital environment today. This is the essence of the Da Vinci Protocol, a fusion of artistic vision, scientific rigor, and a deep respect for the biological laws that govern our human existence. Soon, I will share the exact sequence of sensory exercises used by the master to sharpen his focus. But first, we must examine the hidden power of light. Leonardo's sensory exercises began with sight, where he would stare at a single candle flame to strengthen the neural pathways associated with intense visual focus and light perception. This practice effectively increased the density of his photoreceptors and enhanced his brain's ability to process subtle gradations of shadow, a technique he called Sfumato in his paintings. To replicate this today, we use specific light therapy devices that emit targeted wavelengths to stimulate mitochondrial activity within the retina and improve overall visual cognitive processing speed. By optimizing the light that enters our eyes, we are not just seeing better, we are actually feeding our brain the primary energy source required for superior neuroplasticity. Next, we examine the auditory dimension, where Leonardo would listen to the complex rhythms of urban life to sharpen his temporal processing and enhance his natural musical intelligence. He believed that every sound contained a mathematical secret, a hidden frequency that could be decoded through deep listening and deliberate attention to the subtle vibrations of existence. In the modern era, we utilize high-fidelity binaural beats to induce specific brain states, mirroring the master's ability to transition between creative flow and logical, analytical thought processes. This integration of sound and vision creates a holistic sensory environment that accelerates learning and prevents the neural stagnation associated with chronic stress and the aging of brain. Furthermore, we must consider the sense of smell, which is the only sensory input that bypasses the thalamus and goes directly to the emotional centers of our brain. Leonardo surrounded himself with aromatic herbs and oils to prime his limbic system for discovery, a biohacking technique that we now call olfactory priming for enhanced memory retention. By using specific scents during deep study sessions, you can create a powerful neurological anchor that allows you to recall complex information with incredible speed and total accuracy later. This leads us to the critical intersection of nutrition and neuroplasticity, where the health of our oral microbiome dictates the chemical environment of our entire central nervous system. Da Vinci's vegetarian diet was a conscious choice to maintain the purity of his internal systems, reducing the systemic inflammation that otherwise degrades the efficiency of our mitochondria. Modern longevity science confirms that a balanced microbiome produces the necessary precursors for dopamine and serotonin, the primary neurotransmitters that drive our motivation and our ability to learn. By optimizing your diet to support these beneficial bacteria, you are effectively providing your brain with the raw materials needed to build and maintain new synaptic connections for life. We are now entering an age where the kitchen becomes the ultimate laboratory for cognitive enhancement, where every meal is a precise formula for biological age reduction and focus. Leonardo da Vinci often combined his dietary choices with the principle of dimostrazione, which is the commitment to testing knowledge through personal experience and rigorous scientific observation every day. This method forces the brain out of its comfort zone, requiring the prefrontal cortex to analyze real-world data and adjust its internal models to match the complex physical reality. To practice this today, we must move beyond passive consumption of information and engage in active experimentation with our own biology, tracking our markers with extreme precision and care. Every experiment we conduct on ourselves is a lesson in neuroplasticity, as the brain adapts to the feedback loops we create through conscious intervention and deep data-driven analysis. This approach allows us to discover the unique protocols that work for our specific genetic makeup, moving us closer to the ideal of personalized longevity and peak human performance. It also builds mental resilience by teaching the brain to embrace failure as a necessary data point on the path toward mastering the complex systems of the biological world. As we refine our internal protocols, we begin to see the emergence of a new type of intelligence, one that is dynamic, interconnected, and fundamentally resistant to cognitive decline. Leonardo's legacy teaches us that the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled through the constant application of curiosity and rigorous effort. By following his 7 methods, we are not just honoring a ghost from the past, we are actually activating the dormant potential within our own modern DNA and mitochondria. This process of self-directed evolution is the ultimate expression of human sovereignty, allowing us to dictate the terms of our own existence in an age of rapid technological change. We are no longer victims of our biology, but the master architects of our neural future, using the wisdom of the Renaissance to navigate the complexities of the future world. Soon, you will learn the final secret to Da Vinci's multifactorial intelligence, involving a specific way of visualizing complex systems that will revolutionize how you process information today. Furthermore, I will explain how to synchronize your deep work with your body's circadian light timing for maximum focus. Stay tuned for the final protocols in our investigation next. To master multifactorial intelligence, we must first train our visual cortex to perceive the world not as separate objects, but as a vast, interconnected web of energetic biological systems. Leonardo achieved this by spending hours observing the flight of birds and the swirl of water, forcing his neurons to map the invisible forces that govern our physical world. In 2026, we utilize eye-tracking technology and neural feedback to replicate this state, allowing us to enhance our spatial reasoning and protect against the onset of metabolic brain aging. This specific visual training increases the volume of gray matter in the parietal lobes, creating a biological fortress that is resistant to the chaos of the modern digital landscape. By consciously expanding our field of view, we shift our nervous system from a state of high-alert stress to a state of calm, creative focus, and superior intellectual power. This transition is essential for maintaining high levels of mitochondrial efficiency in the prefrontal cortex, the primary region responsible for deep work and visionary problem-solving for our future. We must also align our cognitive efforts with the circadian light timing, ensuring that we engage in our most demanding tasks during the natural peaks of our neurotransmitter production. Leonardo followed this principle instinctively, rising with the sun to utilize the morning blue light to surge his dopamine levels and prime his brain for a day of discovery. Modern science confirms that morning sunlight exposure for just 10 minutes can significantly improve your mental resilience and optimize the production of melatonin for deep and restorative sleep later. This rhythmic alignment is the foundation of longevity, protecting our genetic code from oxidative stress and ensuring that our cellular energy remains high well into our older and wiser years. Furthermore, the master's obsession with proportion provided a structural framework that allowed his mind to process massive amounts of information without suffering from any form of cognitive overload today. By using the golden ratio as a mental filter, he simplified the complexity of nature, turning raw sensory data into a coherent and beautiful map of the entire physical universe. By implementing the master's structural visualization techniques, you effectively upgrade your neural processing speed, allowing you to navigate high-stakes environments with the same precision as the world's greatest architect. This method effectively upgrades your brain's processing speed, allowing you to navigate the high-stakes environments of the 21st century with the same clarity and precision as the master architect. We must also integrate the health of our oral microbiome into this equation, as the bacteria in our mouth produce the precursors for essential chemicals like nitric oxide today. Nitric oxide is critical for maintaining healthy blood flow to the brain, ensuring that your neurons receive a constant supply of nutrients and oxygen for maximum neuroplasticity and growth. By optimizing this internal ecosystem through diet and hygiene, we create the perfect biological environment for our minds to flourish and reach the peak of their creative and intellectual potential. Leonardo's diet of fresh, locally sourced plants provided the necessary antioxidants to protect his brain cells from the damage caused by the environmental toxins and stresses of his time. In 2026, we face even greater challenges, making it imperative that we adopt these ancient protocols to safeguard our mitochondrial health and preserve our cognitive sovereignty in the digital age. Every choice we make regarding our light exposure, our breathing, and our nutrition is a deliberate act of neuroengineering, a step toward a biological age that reflects our wisdom. We are no longer limited by our genetic inheritance, but are the active designers of our own destiny, using the tools of science and the wisdom of history together. As we conclude our investigation into the 7 methods of Leonardo, we begin to see how they form a complete and powerful system for total human evolution and mental mastery. This protocol is the blueprint for the seeker who refuses to settle for mediocrity, who strives for the same level of excellence and visionary insight that defined the master's life. By committing to these daily practices, you are activating the dormant potential within your own biology, pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a truly advanced human being. The journey toward superior neuroplasticity is a continuous process of discovery and refinement, a lifelong quest to understand the complex laws that govern our minds and our physical biological existence. We must embrace the rigor of the scientific method while maintaining the wonder of the artistic spirit, bridging the gap between what is known and what is yet to be. This fusion of logic and creativity is the ultimate key to longevity, keeping the mind vibrant and curious as we navigate the challenges and opportunities of the future world ahead. I will now show you how to structure your environment for maximum intellectual focus. But first, you must understand the critical importance of the evening wind-down protocol for brain. Soon, I will reveal the precise steps to ensure deep recovery. But as we move forward, you will learn the secret to maintaining clarity under high stakes and intense pressure next. To structure your environment for supreme intellectual focus, we must look at how Leonardo curated his Tuscan surroundings to minimize noise and maximize his deep neural engagement daily. He understood that the physical space we inhabit is a direct reflection of our internal mental state, a biological extension of the prefrontal cortex's capacity for complex thought. In our modern era, this translates to the elimination of digital clutter and the intentional design of high-fidelity work zones that support prolonged mitochondrial output and creative flow. Every object in your field of view is a piece of data that your brain must process, either fueling your focus or draining your precious cellular energy reserves. By adopting the master's minimalist aesthetic, you protect your brain from information fatigue, ensuring that your cognitive resources are dedicated entirely to the act of visionary creation today. This leads us back to the necessity of the evening wind-down protocol, a critical period where the brain transitions from the heat of action to the cool of recovery. As the sun sets, our biology shifts its focus toward cellular repair, a process that is often sabotaged by the artificial blue light of our ubiquitous digital screens. Leonardo respected the darkness, allowing his brain to synchronize with the natural solar cycle, a principle that we now understand as the key to optimal hormonal and mitochondrial health. By removing blue light exposure after dusk, you trigger the natural release of melatonin, the powerful antioxidant that protects your neurons from oxidative damage and prevents rapid aging. This recovery phase is when the glymphatic system becomes most active, washing away the metabolic waste products that accumulate in the brain during periods of high-intensity intellectual work today. Without this deep cleaning, your neurons become sluggish and your capacity for neuroplasticity diminishes, leaving you vulnerable to the cognitive decline often associated with the modern, stressful lifestyle. By embracing the quiet stillness of the night, Leonardo allowed his mind to process the complex patterns observed during the day, facilitating deep neural consolidation and cognitive recovery. Leonardo utilized this period of quiet reflection to review his daily observations, a habit that reinforced his synaptic connections and prepared his mind for the dreams of the future. We now recognize this as a form of neural consolidation, where the experiences of the day are woven into the long-term architecture of the brain's vast and complex memory. To optimize this, one must cultivate a state of mental stillness, utilizing specific breathing protocols that lower the heart rate and signal to the body that the day is done. This signals the start of the deep repair cycle, where the body's resources are directed toward rebuilding the structural integrity of our cells and optimizing our internal biological systems. Every night of high-quality sleep is an investment in your future intelligence, a vote for a biological age that reflects the vitality and wisdom of the greatest Renaissance master. Furthermore, we must address the master's practice of mirror writing, a technique that forced his brain to engage in highly unusual patterns of neural activation and hemispheric communication today. This dual hemisphere engagement strengthened the corpus callosum, the primary bridge for data transfer in the brain, allowing for a level of creative and logical integration that remains largely unparalleled. By challenging the brain with such counterintuitive tasks, we stimulate the growth of new white matter tracts, enhancing our overall processing speed and the fluidity of our mental operations. Modern neuroimaging shows that ambidextrous training can significantly delay the symptoms of cognitive aging, keeping the mind sharp and resilient even under the most intense and extreme pressure. We are now entering a new frontier of cognitive engineering, where these ancient Renaissance methods are combined with the precision of future technology to create the ultimate human mind. Leonardo's ability to visualize complex systems was the culmination of these practices, a multifactorial intelligence that allowed him to see the future centuries before it actually arrived on Earth. This level of foresight is now within our reach, provided we have the discipline to follow the protocols and the courage to experiment with our own unique biological potential. Every habit we have discussed is a tool for self-directed evolution, a way to reclaim our mental sovereignty and build a life that is truly worthy of our human heritage. We are the architects of our own neural future, using the wisdom of history and the power of science to navigate the challenges of the 21st century with grace. The integration of these 7 methods creates a powerful synergy, a protocol for total transformation that will leave you with a biological age and mind that defies all expectations. As we approach the final reveal of the Master's most secret technique, remember that the true power lies in the consistent application of these principles in your own daily life. Stay tuned for the next section of our investigation, because soon you will learn exactly how to transform your mental health and cognitive power through the Master's final wisdom. The 7th and most powerful method of Leonardo is Connessione, the ability to recognize that every single thing in the universe is fundamentally connected to every other biological thing. By training his brain to see these hidden relationships, he created a neural architecture that was capable of solving multiple complex problems across entirely different domains simultaneously and effortlessly. This visionary insight allowed Leonardo to synthesize the organic forms of the human body with the mechanical precision of future engineering, fundamentally rewiring his brain for total intellectual mastery. To master this today, we must utilize advanced neuropriming techniques that encourage our neurons to build bridges between logic and intuition, creating a state of superior multifactorial intelligence. We must also prioritize the health of our mitochondria, as these cellular power plants provide the immense energy required to maintain such a high-level and complex neural infrastructure. Modern science confirms that this energy production is strictly regulated by our circadian light timing, making it essential to align our deepest work with the natural solar rhythms. By exposing our eyes to the specific wavelengths of early morning light, we surge our dopamine and cortisol levels, priming the prefrontal cortex for hours of intense creative production. Leonardo followed this natural protocol to achieve a state of mental resilience that allowed him to work with extreme focus even under the most difficult and challenging conditions. We can now enhance this resilience by optimizing our oral microbiome, which acts as a secondary filter for the chemicals and signaling molecules that enter our central nervous system. A healthy internal ecosystem ensures that our neural firing remains clean and efficient, allowing for the rapid processing of information and the preservation of our precious cognitive longevity. Furthermore, the integration of these 7 methods requires a commitment to the principle of saper vedere, or knowing how to see the underlying geometry of the entire world. This structural thinking protects the brain from the fragmentation and noise of the modern world, building a mental fortress that is truly resistant to any form of cognitive aging. By cultivating a mind that is both analytical and artistic, you activate the full potential of your DNA, ensuring that your biological age remains significantly lower than your chronological. Leonardo's legacy is not found in his paintings alone, but in the specific protocols for neural evolution that he left behind for those who have the eyes to see. Every day is an opportunity to rewire your brain, using the same methods that the Master utilized to transcend the limits of his era and reach for the stars. We are now entering the final stage of our investigation, where we will reveal the Master's most guarded secret for maintaining peak cognitive power under high stakes and intense pressure. This ultimate technique involves a specific way of managing the nervous system in real time, allowing for absolute clarity and focus even in the midst of extreme chaos and stress. By mastering this secret, you reclaim your biological sovereignty, ensuring that your mind remains sharp and vibrant regardless of the environmental toxins or digital noise that surround you today. By implementing the final piece of the Master's protocol, you synchronize your entire biological system with the underlying mathematical harmonies of the physical universe for total intellectual mastery. This synchronization allows for a level of insight that is beyond the reach of the average mind, pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a truly advanced human. We are now at the threshold of a new era, where the wisdom of the Renaissance meets the precision of future technology to create a new type of human intelligence. Leonardo's journey was just the beginning, a map left for us to follow as we navigate the complexities and the infinite opportunities of the 21st century and beyond. By following his 7 methods, you are not just optimizing your biology, you are participating in the grand experiment of human evolution and the mastery of the mind today. This is the true meaning of the Leonardo Protocol, the pursuit of excellence through the constant application of curiosity, rigor, and a deep respect for the laws of nature. We must never stop questioning, never stop exploring, and never stop building the mental and biological foundations for a future that reflects our highest aspirations and our greatest power. Every breath you take is a chance to reset your system. Every exposure to light is a chance to surge your energy, and every thought is a chance to rewire. Soon, I will reveal the precise sequence of the Master's final cognitive exercise, but first, we must address the hidden power of the oral microbiome on your mental resilience. Furthermore, I will explain how to synchronize your deep focus sessions with your body's circadian light timing for maximum intellectual output. Stay tuned for the final reveal next. The path to total mastery is now open, and the secrets of the Renaissance are yours to command in the quest for superior neuroplasticity and eternal intellectual power today. We now descend into the final chamber of the Master's wisdom, where the integration of breath and vision creates a permanent shift in your fundamental biological cognitive architecture today. This state, which Leonardo called the infinite mind, is the result of thousands of hours of deliberate practice and a deep respect for the sacred geometry of the universe. To initiate this protocol, you must begin by cleansing your oral microbiome, removing the toxic bacteria that create systemic inflammation and cloud your higher-level prefrontal cortex and vision. By using specific herbal tinctures known to the Master, we can optimize our internal ecosystem, ensuring that only the most beneficial signaling molecules reach our precious neural circuits. This internal purity allows the brain to operate with absolute precision, facilitating the rapid growth of new synapses and the preservation of our memory well into our later years. We then move to the geometric breathing sequence, where you synchronize your inhalation with the golden ratio, saturating your mitochondria with the oxygen needed for deep and visionary work. This rhythmic breathing lowers the biological age of your cells, reversing the damage caused by chronic stress and the constant noise of the high-pressure modern digital and social world. As your internal state stabilizes, you must engage your peripheral vision, widening your gaze to absorb the hidden patterns of reality that remain invisible to the untrained and stressed mind. By mastering the specific ratio of light and darkness, you can effectively reprogram your mitochondria to produce a constant stream of clean energy for your most advanced neural processes. Leonardo utilized this morning protocol to surge his focus, rising before the sun to ensure his brain was primed for the most difficult and complex tasks of the day. To replicate this, you must seek out natural blue light during the first hour of waking, signaling to your master biological clock that it is time to perform at peak. This simple act of light timing protects your DNA and telomeres, ensuring that your cognitive power remains vibrant and sharp as you navigate the complexities of our future world today. Furthermore, the integration of mirror writing challenges the brain to build new white matter tracks, enhancing the speed of data transfer between the creative and logical hemispheres of mind. This dual-hand coordination stimulates the growth of the corpus callosum, the primary bridge for intelligence, allowing for a level of visionary insight that mirrors the master's own powerful genius. By consistently applying these 7 methods, you are not just honoring the past, you are actually participating in the active design of your own neural and biological evolutionary future. We are now entering the final stage of our masterclass, where we will examine the master's most guarded technique for maintaining absolute clarity under extreme and high-pressure stress environments. This ultimate secret involves a specific way of managing the nervous system in real time, allowing you to remain centered and focused even in the midst of total environmental chaos. Leonardo called this the stillness within the storm, a mental habit that protected his prefrontal cortex from the metabolic drain of fear and the stress of the modern world. By mastering this state, you reclaim your biological sovereignty, ensuring that your mind remains sharp and creative regardless of the challenges or the toxins that surround you every day. This is the final piece of the Leonardo Protocol, a synthesis of ancient wisdom and future technology that provides the ultimate blueprint for total human evolution and mental power. As you implement these steps, you will notice a significant decrease in your biological age and a massive increase in your capacity for deep focus and high-level creative work. Every choice regarding your light, your breath, and your nutrition is a vote for the advanced human you are becoming, a step toward a legacy that reflects your wisdom. We are no longer limited by the biological constraints of our ancestors, but are the active designers of our own neural destiny, using the tools of history and science. Leonardo da Vinci, in a modern science laboratory, medium shot, smiling slightly as he looks at a 3D hologram of a human DNA helix. By honoring the principles of the master, you unlock the dormant potential within your own mitochondria, pushing the boundaries of what is possible for the human mind and body. This journey toward superior neuroplasticity is a continuous process of refinement, a lifelong quest to understand the complex laws that govern our minds and our fundamental biological human existence. We must maintain the rigor of the scientific method while embracing the wonder of the artistic spirit, bridging the gap between what is known and what is yet unknown. Soon, I will share the final summary of the Master's protocols. But first, you must understand the critical importance of the daily light exposure for your brain's health today. Furthermore, I will reveal the precise steps to ensure deep recovery and peak performance under high-stakes pressure. Stay tuned for the final conclusion of our investigation next. As we reach the final destination of this deep neurobiological journey, we must integrate all 7 methods into a single, cohesive daily protocol for total cognitive evolutionary transformation. The mastery of vision, breath, and focus combined with mitochondrial optimization creates a biological synergy that elevates your intelligence far beyond the standard limits of our modern era. By consistently applying these Renaissance secrets, you are essentially rewriting your genetic code, ensuring that your brain remains sharp, creative, and fundamentally resistant to all forms of aging. This level of biological sovereignty is the ultimate goal of the seeker, a state where the mind and body operate in perfect mathematical harmony with the physical universe. We have decoded the geometry of genius, providing you with a practical blueprint to enhance your neuroplasticity and reclaim your mental power in this high-stakes and digital age. Leonardo's final secret was the absolute surrender to the process of discovery, a mental state where curiosity overrides fear and every obstacle becomes a data point for evolution. To implement this today, you must cultivate a mind that is both analytical and artistic, bridging the gap between scientific rigor and the infinite wonder of the spirit. By optimizing your oral microbiome and your circadian light timing, you provide the perfect biological foundation for your neurons to fire with maximum speed and total neural efficiency. Every meal, every breath, and every exposure to the morning sun is a deliberate act of neuroengineering, a step toward a biological age that reflects your highest potential. We are no longer victims of our genetic inheritance, but the master architects of our own destiny, using the tools of history and science to navigate our modern world. The path to superior neuroplasticity is a continuous journey of refinement, a lifelong commitment to understanding the complex biological laws that govern our minds and our entire bodies. This fusion of logic and creativity is the ultimate key to longevity, keeping the mind vibrant and curious as we face the challenges and opportunities of the future. By honoring the principles of the Master, you unlock the dormant potential within your own mitochondria, pushing the boundaries of what is possible for the advanced human being today. We must maintain the rigor of the scientific method while embracing the wonder of the artistic spirit, bridging the gap between what is known and what is yet unknown. Leonardo's legacy teaches us that the mind is a fire to be kindled through the constant application of curiosity and rigorous effort toward the mastery of our biology. Every day is an opportunity to rewire your brain, using the same methods that the Master utilized to transcend the limits of his era and reach for the stars. By implementing the final piece of the Master's protocol, you synchronize your entire biological system with the underlying mathematical harmonies of the physical universe for total intellectual mastery. This synchronization allows for a level of insight that is beyond the reach of the average mind, pushing the boundaries of what it means to be a truly advanced human. We are now at the threshold of a new era, where the wisdom of the Renaissance meets the precision of future technology to create a new type of human intelligence. Leonardo's journey was just the beginning, a map left for us to follow as we navigate the complexities and the infinite opportunities of the 21st century and beyond. By following his 7 methods, you are not just optimizing your biology, you are participating in the grand experiment of human evolution and the total mastery of the mind. This is the true meaning of the Leonardo Protocol, the pursuit of excellence through the constant application of curiosity, rigor, and a deep respect for the laws of nature. We must never stop questioning, never stop exploring, and never stop building the mental and biological foundations for a future that reflects our highest aspirations and our power. Every breath you take is a chance to reset your system. Every exposure to light is a chance to surge your energy, and every thought is a chance to rewire. Next time, I will reveal the precise sequence of the Master's final cognitive exercise. But first, you must understand the critical importance of the daily light exposure for your brain. Furthermore, I will explain how to synchronize your deep focus sessions with your body's circadian light timing for maximum intellectual output. Stay tuned for the final reveal next. The path to total mastery is now open, and the secrets of the Renaissance are yours to command in the quest for superior neuroplasticity and eternal intellectual power today. Thank you for exploring these ancient secrets with us today. If you found this protocol useful for your evolution, please consider subscribing and liking to support our mission. We appreciate your dedication to cognitive excellence and longevity. Your participation in this grand experiment of the mind is what drives us to uncover more future technological breakthroughs. Stay tuned for our next investigation into the biology of genius. Until we meet again, may your mitochondria be powerful and your neural connections remain vibrant and forever sharp.